So when it comes to overcoming sin in our lives, we do not want to use law. The reason for this is sin actually gets its strength from law. 1 Corinthians chapter 15 and verse 56 says, "And the sting of death is the sin, and the inherent ability of the sin is law." Grace actually frees us from law. Grace gives us freedom so that we can live out who we are in Christ. In Romans chapter 6 and verse 14, we see that for sin will not rule you, for you are not under law, but under grace. So under grace, sin doesn't have any strength to rule us, but under law, it does have the strength to rule us. Now, yes, law is a logical thing. It is an appropriate standard by which anybody can live a very good and righteous life. The problem is the sin nature uses that. So we see over in Romans chapter 7 and verse 14, "For we intuitively know that the law is logical, but I on my part am fleshly, having been sold under the sin." So the problem there is, yeah, the Mosaic law is logical. As a matter of fact, any do not law oftentimes is very logical in the way that you're applying it. You don't want to do what is wrong. The problem with that is the sin nature actually uses that to deceive us so that it separates us from our position in Christ. It separates us from our ability to actually live out who we are in Christ. We see this in Romans chapter 7 and verse 11, where it says, "For the sin," which would be the sin nature there, "taking opportunity through the commandment, deceived me, and through it," that is through the commandment, "it killed." It separated me from my ability to live out who I am in Christ. Grace is living righteously because we are righteous in Christ. It isn't about trying to be righteous through our own works. It's about using what God has so graciously provided for us. So when it comes to the sin nature, we need to stop focusing on the do nots and start focusing on the do's. Because we as Christians, when we're living out who we are in Christ, we will not violate any quality of law. Sin no longer rules in our lives. Part of our salvation freed us from that. Now we need to realize the shackles have been removed and start to live a life of freedom, one that's not bound by law, but one that actually has the freedom to express love and righteousness in a way that truly does glorify God and takes full advantage of the salvation that we have in Christ.